This is Module 7.5, Electrolyser Safety. With a good background in theory and familiarity with the various components, we're going to now focus on the safety aspects of the electrolyzer. There are a number of hazards around the electrolyzer. The big one, of course, is the fire hazard from hydrogen gas. There are 4 parts to managing this risk. First, proper maintenance will ensure the generator is operating properly and producing pure, uncontaminated hydrogen. Secondly, proper procedures and testing will ensure there are no leaks from the cells, the gas holder, compressor, lines, fittings, and tank. Third, keeping the building properly ventilated will ensure any planned or accidental releases of hydrogen are safely vented out of the building. Fourth, keeping ignition sources away from the balloon shed. This means no smoking, no power tools, and proper grounding to eliminate static electricity. The electrolyzer also contains chemical hazards. The cells contain potassium hydroxide solution, which is corrosive and can produce severe burns if it comes in contact with the body or is swallowed or breathed. Only the OIC and inspector work with electrolyte liquid. The Fyrite sampler fluid is corrosive and an irritant. The compressor oil is an irritant, and there may also be lubricants and leak detector fluid that are irritants, poisonous, or corrosive. All of these have similar first aid requirements. In case of eye contact, flush for 20 minutes with water. In case of skin contact, wash for 20 minutes with water. In case of inhalation, move to fresh air. In case of ingestion, do not induce vomiting. The MSDS provides more information on these chemicals. In any and all first aid cases, the OIC must be notified and medical personnel must be consulted. Shock hazards exist on top of the cells. Metal objects coming in contact with the copper bus bars will cause an electrical short circuit and sparks. There are burn hazards. The cells can get warm and the copper bus bars can get hot. Exercise caution when working near the cells. There are rotating machinery hazards. The compressor pulley rotates rapidly. There is a metal cage in front of it to prevent clothing and fingers from getting caught, but you should still exercise caution near the back of the electrolyzer. There are pressure hazards. The storage tank in the back corner and lines leading from the compressor have flammable gas under pressure. Using personal protective equipment. As a routine, rubber gloves and safety glasses should be worn when using the Fyrite sampler. There are non-routine operations on the cells that require additional PPE, but they're performed by the OIC or inspector and not by the technicians. Safety equipment. In the training module on the balloon shed, you've already been exposed to the safety board in the electrolyzer room. The personal protective equipment cabinet includes gloves, glasses, goggles, face shields, and aprons. There's also a chemical burn solution station, a first aid kit, and an eye wash station. On the other side of the entrance, there's a water hose, mops, and buckets to clean any spilled materials off the floor. There's also a fire extinguisher beside every doorway. And you've also seen the roof level vents that allow any planned or accidental release of hydrogen to be quickly cleared away. Inside the room, you've seen the ceiling vent as well as the fire sensor and the gas sensor. You also know about the fire alarm indicator, the gas alarm indicator, and the external siren, all located on the north side of the balloon shed. And you're also familiar with the control alarm panel. You already know that before going to the balloon shed, you should confirm the green power indicator is illuminated, the fire alarm indicator is off, and the electrolyzer status indicators should all be illuminated. Now we'll add more details about the rest of the panel controls. The disable switch. In the disabled position, the green power on light goes off, and power to the electrolyzer is turned off, and it also turns off the siren. On the electrolyzer, the emergency off button is also disabled, and the low pressure switch is disabled. However, the fire alarm and gas alarm circuits are still enabled, and if the sensors are activated, the siren will sound. So in the event of an electrolyzer problem, leaving this switch in the disabled position still means the alarm circuits will work. If this switch is in disable and is turned back to normal, the siren will come on. To silence the siren, push the reset button and the green power on light will be illuminated and power to the electrolyzer will be restored. The fire alarm test button. Pushing this button simulates a fire alarm. The red fire alarm indicator turns on. Power to the electrolyzer is turned off, and the siren sounds and the indicator lights on the balloon shed are illuminated. To reset the alarm, push the reset button. External alarm disabled. Sable Island actually has two sirens at this station, the one you've seen on the balloon shed and a second one on the roof of the operations building. During scheduled testing, we activate the external alarm disabled to turn off the siren at the operations building only, in order to avoid disturbing people that might be sleeping. When the external alarm is disabled, the yellow indicator button is illuminated. The electrolyzer status indicators are just a quick way to determine the status of the electrolyzer. You already know that they're normally all illuminated. The rectifier light indicates if the rectifier is turned on. So while the green power indicator shows if there's power to the electrolyzer, the rectifier indicator shows if the rectifier is actually running. The compressor light indicates if the compressor circuit is normal. If it's not illuminated, it means the upper limit switch has been activated and suggests a problem with the compressor. Finally, along the bottom of the control panel are fuses for the three different circuits. And you're also familiar with the gas alarm panel. You know the green pilot light indicates the panel is powered on, and you also know that this should always be on. The meter shows the hydrogen concentration at the sensor, and you already know that this should always read 0%. We mentioned the other indicator lights, but now as part of the electrolyzer training, we have to go into more detail. The orange warn test button is illuminated when the gas sensor is detecting more than 20% LEL, or 0.8% hydrogen, and it will turn off power to the electrolyzer and sound the alarm siren. The calibration of this sensor is checked every month. Pushing this button activates the test feature. The needle should deflect to 100%, activate the siren, and turn off power to the electrolyzer. If the red alarm indicator is illuminated, it indicates the gas sensor is detecting more than 40% LEL, or 1.6% hydrogen. And again, the siren will sound and the power to the electrolyzer will be turned off. The blue fail indicator shows there's a sensor malfunction. So hydrogen concentrations have to exceed 20% LEL to activate the amber warning indicator light, and have to exceed 40% to activate the red alarm indicator light. And if either of those levels are exceeded, the sirens will come on and power to the electrolyzer will be turned off. But if hydrogen is detected at concentrations below 20% LEL, the needle will indicate the level, but it won't sound an alarm. Standard procedure is to visually check the meter to confirm that there are no detected gas leaks before going to the hydrogen shed. It should always read 0%. To reset the gas alarm, there's a reset button on the front panel. So if you push the amber warn test button to activate the alarm, it will sound the alarm and turn off power to the electrolyzer. To reset the alarms and restore power to the electrolyzer, you then push this reset button to reset the gas alarm, and then push the green reset button on the control panel to turn off the siren and restore power to the electrolyzer. This concludes the introduction to safety equipment.